back to the third video in the series of using the same sketch, but just doing some different things with it. For this one, I have 4x6 photos, but the catch is that I have one landscape photo, like the sketch shows, and I have one portrait photo, so I do have to make some adjustments here. I do have a round object that I want to use in place of this round area. I'm going to do a stencil, and I'm going to do it down here in the lower left corner, so I'm really flipping the sketch both top to bottom and left to right, so it's kind of on the diagonal. So I'm going to have this down here with a photo over that, and then if I were flipping the sketch this way, normally then the journaling would be up here. And I'm not going to have the journaling up there, or I may have a little bit of journaling up there, but what I have instead of the landscape photo is I have a portrait photo. So I'm going to take up that space that would normally be photo and journaling largely with a single photo. Now for the colors for this particular page, when I first printed this picture, I thought, oh, this is great. We're all wearing all these matching colors. We didn't plan this really, but we've got a lot of orange here and my dad's sort of sherbet colored shirt there. When I see those colors, though, I think tropical or maybe fall. This was made in April, and it's my birthday, so I want the page to reflect the colors and things that kind of go with me. And this is not what I would normally wear. This, I just happened to pick this for the evening, but it's not something that's really that representative of my personality. So I'm looking for maybe a little bit different look. Since it was my 50th birthday, I decided to really pull out the gold in here and go with a gold theme. If you're doing a 50th anniversary, you do gold, so I thought I would do that for the page. And also because I really wanted to use this paper. This is from Crepe Paper, Style Board, which I think is a Maggie Holmes paper, and it's just a beige background and it has these lovely little gold foil dots. So we're going to use some of that in the background, and I'm going to use some gold over here, the stenciling here. The background paper that I decided behind the photos, I looked at black, but black is taking me further away from a page representative of me than I wanted to get, because although, you know, we have a lot of black in our clothes, it's just making this really dark, and it's just not really me, because I don't, as I said, typically wear a lot of black anymore. Since I don't work in a corporate job, I don't wear as many of the formal colors, and I just don't wear that much of it. So I decided on this wood grain paper. This, I think, is also Crepe Paper. It was from a Valentine's Day collection, and it's one of those pages where I cut the middle out. So I've got the middle, and we're going to put the middle in here. I'll clean up the edges a little bit, and that will give me a nice place to do my stenciling on something reasonably flat. And I apologize for my fingernails. I've got white paint all under them, but it's, for once, it's not for crafting. I was doing some painting around the house. So I'm going to get that stenciling done, and we'll also need to pick out some title work, and I'll be putting some titling over, or actually I might actually put it in the stenciling because it's going to be a gel kind of medium, and I may just put it in there and let it dry as it goes. And then we're going to do some other fun things with the gold color scheme. To do my stencil, I'm going to use some heavy gel and some gold perfect pearls. It's the only thing I really had that would make gold, and I've done this before. It makes a really pretty finish. The only catch to it is you have to figure out how much perfect pearls to add to get the color you want, because the gel starts out white, but it's going to dry clear. So all of that white color is going to disappear, and when it's mixed with the gold, it looks pretty light. But once that white disappears, you can end up with a lot of gold. So you kind of have to be careful how much perfect pearls, whatever color you're using, that you put in. I'm going to put a little sample of this on some cardstock that's sort of close to the same color as my background. I kind of get an idea of how this is going to look. About the same thickness that I would use it. And I let it dry a little bit, and I also used a heat gun just to get an idea. I realized it wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm adding a little bit more perfect pearls, and I think that's going to be enough. I don't feel like I'm going to need to do another test run. I've done these enough that you kind of get an idea of how it's going to look. I thought that first one would probably be too light, and it was, and I think this will come out okay. I have had them come out a little dark, so that's why I say it's probably good to test them. going ahead and picking out my words, which I have trouble getting in the right order here. It's supposed to be a new age. And I want those out because I think I'm going to press them right into the modeling paste or the gel medium. Could do this with modeling paste too. Because it really works like glue. It's going to hold everything in place. And then they're not having to sit on top. Just spreading on this mixture of heavy gel and Perfect Pearls Gold. I did have one other thing that was gold, and that's some Heidi Swap Gold Mist, which you can mix with the mediums, but you have to put quite a lot in, and then it gets kind of watery, so I just decided to use the Perfect Pearls. I have some paint you'll see in a little while, but it's not quite gold. And this is going to make a pretty finish. When it's wet, it's pretty light colored, and then you'll see it dry here in just a few moments. Now, I'm out of my comfort zone here because I normally use a ruler to lay my letters down, but I can't do that this time, so I'm just going to have to try to get them straight. And of course, they're there. Straight or crooked, whatever I do with them, they're not going to move once they dry with that gel medium. I kind of wish I'd moved that first A over a little bit more, but it still came out okay. All right, I cut the middle out, like I often do, so I can save some of that polka dot paper for another thing. And I'm going to put something down in the lower left-hand corner. You got to see the gel medium, and you'll get to see that more again later on when it's dry. It's really pretty gold. It's almost dry here. I have some flowers that I ordered from Wild Orchid Crafts in England. They were recommended to me by a crafting friend, and they are wonderful. The customer service was great. I love the product, good price. I ordered all of my flowers, almost all of them, in white or ivory colors with the idea that I would add color to them. I like that feature, but I do think next time I'll probably order some in different colors now that I know what all I'm getting and the quality and stuff, but they're really fabulous. These are... One of these is Magnolia Blossoms. I think it's the one I'm painting right now with a mixture of iridescent medium and some bronze paint from Golden that just makes the most beautiful finish. There is a gold color, which I don't have, but the bronze mixed with the iridescent medium, it doesn't come out super dark. And you can see here it's really pretty, and there we're getting a little bit better view of the stenciling. These flowers have the little stem on the back, but that makes them easy to hold while you're painting or inking them or whatever. You can mist them. You can do all kinds of different things with them. All right, I looked up and found some more gold things in my stash. I have these keys. This from Hobby Lobby. And I thought butterflies would be appropriate for this new age kind of thing that I'm doing here. And I was looking for some paper for journaling, and I found some ledger paper, and I also found some there with some words on them that I thought looked really pretty with it. So I'm thinking about using that for a mat. I don't know how it's going to look with the paper with the journaling, but we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. I also have some butterflies from Studio Calico that are just stickers. That's another possibility. Now, I decided to handwrite my journaling. I almost never do this. I tried the gold pen from Creative Memories and it was too bright a gold, so I'm going to use brown. I got enough gold here, I think, anyway. So I'm going to use brown, and I'm going to give it a try at handwriting my journaling. It is kind of a personal page about me, so that may be appropriate. But I don't like my handwriting, and I know a lot of people think you should definitely put your handwriting on pages. I have done a few pages with my handwriting, so there are samples out there for the future, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest that there are very few samples. Most of them are typed journaling because it's what I prefer. So it's really just, whatever you like. It's certainly faster to do it by hand and not have to worry about placing things on the printer. Using some vintage photo ink. I also did this around that wood grain paper that was for the background, and I'm doing a little bit of twine, an old card making trick of putting it across
the front of something and then just taping it off on the back side and then tying a separate piece across the front of the twine or ribbon, whatever you're doing, and tying that in a bow. You get a prettier bow this way usually. Although I'm not the world's best bow tyer, I'll give you that. I've watched everybody's videos on bow tying and they're okay. It's not my best thing. All right. Now we're getting closer here with these butterflies. What I decided to do, both the butterflies were from Studio Calico, and so they were the same shape. So I just layered the stickers on top of the canvas ones. And I'm adding a little bit of washi tape to kind of fill in the space here on the upper left and the lower right. And it's a chevron washi tape, so it's a little more modern to kind of offset some of the, to me it looks almost a little old-fashioned with the flower and the key. It's going to get slightly more old-fashioned here in a minute. Well, I add one last thing to this page. I have some rub-ons, and I didn't end up using the rub-ons, but I did these particular rub-ons, but I did end up using the little rhinestones that came with them. I think these are basic gray that I picked up at the dollar store. I mostly have them for mixed media, but these little rhinestones are just right for the middles of my butterflies because I needed a little something there. And I need something on this chevron. And when I went to hunt something, I found this little bit of lace. It is so old. I have had that in my stash probably since before I was a scrapbooker, probably since back in the 80s. And it's never found a home until now. It's finally found a spot. So it was just the right amount. And I'm adding some rub-ons here. I don't even know, that's a street of some kind in French. I don't remember my French to know what I'm saying, but it's just adding some color.
So our page has a gold theme for the 50th birthday, but I didn't really use anything in here about turning 50 because I've already done pages about that. I just mentioned it very briefly in my journaling. So it's a little more subtle in that respect, but we do have a lot of shine to the page, some butterflies to symbolize the new life, and sort of a key, I think, is something that can go for a lot of different themes. There's a little bit of an old-fashioned look to it as well, but I like the whole general appearance of the page. I'm being able to work in quite a few gold things in the neutrals. I don't gravitate towards doing neutral pages. I really like color. My first thought, was to do all these orangey colors in here, but when I do neutral pages, I like them once they're done. What I've done here is kind of flip this diagonally really to bring the circle element down here, but I ended up with the journaling beside of this. So I've got my 4x6 photo going vertically instead of horizontally on the page. Instead of doing a border around the edge with the stitching that I had on the sketch, I've done this kind of a border and then just added a lot of embellishment down here with the circle, and I didn't put a little bit here with the journaling, not a whole lot. So the sketch was a guide, but definitely made a number of changes to it. Okay. And now I'll show you a quick snapshot of the other two pages that I did with this same sketch, and you can find links for those along with this on your screen, along with having seen this page. You can see the other two pages if you'd like. If you're interested in sketches, I do have a sketchbook available over on my blog, and there's a link to a Scrapbook that I did back in June called Sketchbook Secrets on how to make changes to your sketches and lots of different things you can do with them. There are several layouts in that Scrapbook that aren't shown anywhere else, only there. And there's also some technique things along with that too, so there's a lot of information. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I love getting your comments and your thumbs up. It's very, very motivating.